Carolina Panthers fans, I have been sitting here thinking about this team, and honestly, the energy in the air feels different as training camp finally gets underway. Something is developing behind the scenes that could truly shake up everything we thought we knew about our path forward this season. The stakes feel higher than ever for some of our biggest names, and the pressure building at camp is becoming impossible to ignore. The more updates I see, the more I realize that this situation is going to define our entire year. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city below. Let's get into it. Training camp is officially underway for the Carolina Panthers, and the main subject looming over Bank of America Stadium is the pivotal make-or-break development of franchise quarterback Bryce Young. Since being selected first overall in the 2023 NFL Draft, Young has endured a turbulent tenure marked by coaching instability and a lack of reliable weapons, leaving us as Carolina Panthers fans desperate for the elite play we were promised. Entering this critical phase of his professional journey, it was announced that minicamp is now fully open, signaling the official start of the grind where chemistry with a reshaped offensive line and rookies like Jonathan Brooks must be forged to save his future. Let's be real, the emotional reaction across the fan base is a volatile mixture of cautious optimism and mounting anxiety, because we have seen this script before. We are weary of the excuses, and this news hits hard because Young is effectively auditioning for his next contract, while players like Xavier Legette and Chuba Hubbard fight for their own survival in a crowded locker room. That matters because the window for this team to turn the tide is closing rapidly as rival organizations like Kellen Moore's Saints and Ben Johnson's Bears reload around the league. And honestly, the weight of expectations is crushing for a young man who has yet to prove he can command this offense at a championship level. Here is where it gets interesting because while Young focuses on his mechanics, the entire building is under immense pressure to justify the massive investment made into the roster. Now here's the thing, if we want to see this team transform into a legitimate playoff contender, it all starts with Young establishing total control of the huddle during these sweltering summer practices. We are ready to see the growth, and it is time to keep pounding. As Carolina Panthers fans, we understand that training camp is where the ghosts of past failures are finally exorcised. We reach this critical juncture because the front office shifted its philosophy after years of stagnation, prioritizing structural integrity over splashy acquisitions. Look at Bryce Young, who enters year 4 facing the reality that his next contract hinges on mastering this revamped offensive line after a career marred by inconsistent protection. Historically, we have seen promising signal callers crumble under this exact pressure, but the coaching staff is privately demanding he evolve into a commander rather than a mere placeholder. And honestly, the weight of expectation on Jalen Phillips is even heavier. He carries a massive contract that makes him the highest paid player on this roster, a financial commitment that mirrors our desperate need for a defensive anchor. The front office views his leadership as the glue holding this unit together, knowing full well that an expensive star who fails to inspire is a death knell for a rebuilding season. Let's be real, Xavier Legette is fighting for his professional life while fending off hungry competition like Chris Brazzell II to secure the WR3 role. His trajectory reminds us of past busts who faded away after failing to produce when the lights grew bright. That matters because a secondary wideout who cannot separate is a liability we can no longer afford. Now here's the thing about Chuba Hubbard, who must reclaim his status as the undisputed RB1 after an injury-plagued 2025 campaign saw him lose his starting spot. With rookie Jonathan Brooks breathing down his neck after a stellar spring, Hubbard is essentially playing for his future in Carolina every single snap. This team is at a crossroads, and these individual battles define whether we finally turn the tide this fall. Keep pounding. Training camp is officially underway. And as Carolina Panthers fans, we know this period defines our ceiling for the upcoming season. That matters because the foundation we build during these sweltering summer practices determines whether we survive the grind of a 17-game schedule. The immediate impact on our depth chart is massive, especially with the reshaped offensive line needing to gel before week 1. We are seeing a direct shift in our salary cap flexibility, as we need high-priced assets like Jalen Phillips to justify their massive contracts while younger talents like Xavier Legette fight to prove their worth on rookie deals. And honestly, this internal competition forces everyone to elevate their performance. Here is where it gets interesting. As we look toward our schedule, these early sessions dictate how we handle challenging matchups against high-powered offenses coached by guys like Kellen Moore in New Orleans or the creative schemes from Ben Johnson in Chicago. If our running game featuring Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks clicks now, it sets the tone for how we control the clock against those tough defensive fronts. Let's be real, our standing in the NFC South hinges on this development. If we fail to establish chemistry in camp, we risk falling behind the Saints. But if these pieces fit, our playoff chances increase significantly. Now here's the thing. This isn't just about individual talent. It is about the collective identity we forge under pressure. We need the leadership from our veterans to bridge the gap between potential and production. If our stars remain humble and our depth players seize their opportunities during these final drills, we will transform into a team that nobody wants to face come January. It is time to grind, stay focused, and as always, keep pounding. On one side, the aggressive pursuit of veteran leadership during this training camp serves as a necessary stabilizer for a roster in transition. By prioritizing chemistry between Bryce Young and his revamped offensive line, we are ensuring that our franchise quarterback finally has the clean pocket required to succeed. This team needs that foundational cohesion to compete in a division where coaches like Kellen Moore in New Orleans are already sharpening their schemes. But on the other side, the heavy reliance on these specific veterans carries the distinct risk of stunted growth for our younger assets. If we sacrifice snaps for high-upside rookies like Jonathan Brooks in favor of established veterans, we might hit a performance ceiling far too early. Here is where it gets interesting because national analysts from the major networks are questioning if our front office is prioritizing short-term job security over long-term rebuilding success. Teams like the Tennessee Titans under Mike Borgonzi are loading up on youth, and the media wonders if we are trending in the opposite direction. Let's be real, the pressure is mounting as the league watches to see if these veteran investments pay off. Personally, I think this strategy is a double-edged sword that puts massive pressure on the coaching staff to produce immediate results. If the offense stagnates early, the patience of our fan base will evaporate before the first month concludes. That matters because this franchise cannot afford another lost season of development while players like Xavier Legette fight for their professional survival. We need to find the balance between veteran reliability and the explosive potential of our younger stars. If we lean too hard into the safe play, we might miss the window to build a true championship contender. Keep pounding. This training camp represents the absolute turning point for our franchise, dictating whether we finally emerge as a legitimate contender or remain trapped in a cycle of rebuilding for the next few years. As Carolina Panthers fans, we should feel a cautious sense of optimism because the front office has clearly prioritized stability and intentional growth over reckless moves. That matters because the core development of Bryce Young and the integration of fresh talent will define our long-term trajectory more than any splashy signing ever could. And honestly, it is time for this team to establish a true identity that opponents fear. Here is where it gets interesting, as the internal competition between veterans like Chuba Hubbard and hungry newcomers like Jonathan Brooks will sharpen our roster until we are battle-tested for the regular season. Let us be real, the pressure is immense for guys like Xavier Legette to prove their worth, but that competitive fire is exactly what we need to elevate our standard of play. We are witnessing the foundation of a modern winning culture being poured in real time, and that creates a sense of accountability we have been craving for seasons. Now, here is the thing. We need to decide if we believe the current trajectory is enough to leapfrog our division rivals. So, do you believe that Bryce Young will finally secure his long-term future as our franchise quarterback with a career-best season under this new system? Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Keep pounding. I'll see you in the next one. But before you go, stay tuned for our exclusive breakdown of the upcoming draft class and how these prospects could reshape the entire league landscape.